Hey guys, welcome back. This is another in our series for Hollywood Animal, the movie studio simulator, if you will, taking part in the 1920s and 30s. And I don't think I've shown you guys it. I did it kind of flashingly once before, but I think this is kind of something that might be of interest to you. When you zoom out, and at one point you'll see you can zoom out. It tells you that you can do that. You can kind of get an overall view of your movie lot as well as the bank information, how much power you're using, how much water you're using, and the expenses related to that, our most profitable film, some of our story elements, and we can even take a look at our element collection here, settings and stuff. And we can take a look at actors and actresses and how many of our actors and actresses employees are free. So the free is in the green, and you'll see that over on the right side here. Average employee happiness is 51. That's kind of okay. It's not bad. Average employee loyalty is 58, and that's not too bad either. But we do have 15 things that require some attention, so we can kind of maybe even take a look at that. You can see here, this is probably one that it's pointing out that needs some attention, his loyalty. So we need to kind of look at his loyalty and figure out, what's going on there. Her happiness, his happiness and loyalty here. There's a couple here with loyalty and happiness problems. Same here, happiness and happiness problems. Editor, not happy at all for whatever reason. Again, the same thing. And then, of course, management. And this is happiness as well. And you can kind of see who they are as far as what's going on with them. So, in the last episode, we kind of focused on trying to get some more stories together, trying to get the pipeline going where we've got movies in pre production, then on to production or filming, and then a post and distribution. And we're going to continue a little bit further down that path. There is a specific point here that I'd like to get to. I don't know that we're going to get to in this episode. I know in the past I've said that I wanted to not be as long of a, hey, that's not bad mark there, B minus, that's pretty good. I didn't want to be as long, and I don't think I held to that one last episode. I don't want to say that again and not hold to it, so I apologize up front if this is a long episode. If not, then bonus, right? There's the there's the experience for the folks involved in the movie. We didn't. So this, I was mentioning the end of last episode. We have the introduction of freshness and staleness of story elements, and this is telling us that all of our story elements in this particular movie are fresh, um, which is good. And so this was the police, the heroes in uniform story element, and this is the chief of police now telling us that we've made a fine movie. And now this is because we've become friends with him. We have goodwill points that we can be used. We can also get additional goodwill points or use the goodwill points actually for something down here. We can earn additional goodwill points by doing these things here. Some of them not good, some of them good, what have you. These down here are probably a little bit more useful, but the problem is in order to have enough goodwill points to continue to do these, you're going to need to do something up here. So, and we'll go over that here shortly. And each of the folks involved have that goodwill attribute and availability to them, and I'll talk about that here in just a second. Our microphone, the old microphone, is going out end of service, so we won't be able to use that any longer. We haven't been using that for a while. We've gotten that other one. So when we release the Wendy Carpenter movie, the mayor will then be our friend, and he'll have things that we can do. And then once we release the bootleggers film, we'll also be able to get something there as well. And so here is the district attorney coming to us talking about how he cheated on his first law exam, and kind of going through talking a little bit about the mayor and some issues that he's got with the mayor. And do you know why I cheated that time back on the exam? He talks about for both of us, they used to call me Stone Face when I was a kid. In our family, people didn't show their feelings, but that night it took a cheap silent movie 20 minutes to teach me what love is. I hope your film will expose America's shame just as clearly. And so what he's talking about here is basically a corrupt official. So we're going to get another story element if we decide to take this movie. So he said, we have a choice here. Great idea. We can release a film like that within 2 years. Brilliant idea. We'll release the film within 1 year, or it's an interesting idea, but we're not making a movie like that. So again, if we choose this one, we're going to get that story element. We'll have 2 years to make that film, and it's the corrupt official story element, which we can then put into a story that we write at the story workshop, right? So this one, even though we didn't have a lot of ad going on with this one here, with the real heroes, we had a 100% attendance in all of our 3,200 screenings, basically. So we were the number one movie of the week. So that's not bad. I was not anticipating quite that good. I was expecting it to be a little worse than that. That may bode well for us continuing to keep high attendance rates, because our ads haven't even really hit yet. Remember, I extended the ad release on that for an extra couple of weeks because we were not at the ad level yet. All right, do we have a cinematographer? We do for this one, and then we have a sound stage. So city streets, city interiors, movie theater, station, hotel, hospital, all these are level 2. The only one that's a level 1 is the external shot. I'm going to go with the new camera, the new microphone. This one we're going to load up with everything just in case. And now we need a producer, a 6.0 producer or higher, and we've got one available basically in 7 days. We've got a director already. He's got 2 movies left. We're going to need 3 people for it. I'd like to have all 6s, but we're going to do this with him. And again, the only thing now we're missing is the producer. And we've got 7 days to wait for him, so he's probably on this movie here. Actually, he might be in the other movie. So here's another scandal that another actor did. Looks like Albert Barton attacked some protesters, and so the journalists saw it. We'll have to apologize for that here shortly. Okay, and our headquarters just doubled the reputation for profitable films. So we're going to go and take a look at the opportunity here of where we want to go. We can generate IP or reputation instead of researching improvements. IP and reputation for top 3 movie. We can do that as well, but that takes considerably longer. Can donate to charity to earn reputation points. That takes a long time. We're going to go with this one here first. Get that one out of the way. And let's see. Okay, yeah, so again, attendance was at 100%. We did lower our screenings, but we're going to make money with this movie because we're still the number one movie. So this actually might do well for us. Upgrade to the script department, so our writers are going to write their movies 15% faster. And we can get them up to 30% faster if we want, or we can come back over to the story elements, potentially new story elements every 6 months. So this is probably not a bad one to do. We could have done a freelance writer's office, which would allow us to take our ideas that we have here, right, and then go to the freelance office and have them write the movie. Do we have the adventure guy? We do. All right, let's get him started on an adventure movie. The other one's finishing up the action movie that we did in the story workshop. And then here is something with regards to after the release of a movie, 20,000 people marched in Tampa to introduce censorship in Hollywood. And they're looking for censorship in Hollywood. So we may be limited in what we can make movies about. So this one, did we increase anything? We did a little bit, but not much. So again, we've got fresh story elements, and that might have helped us with that, but it didn't help us enough, I don't think. Not a great movie, I don't think. And I'm going to let this go the full 6 weeks, because if we end up extending our other movie, we don't want it to run into this one here. And we don't want to necessarily cut this one short with the amount of time to get and pay the extra money that we'd have to pay in order to get the movie printed faster. So that one's going to go in for 6 weeks. We're going to pick this advertising like we normally do. And we're now going to be down to basically just over $5 million. Okay, so we've got a script that was written, not a great one. All fresh story elements. Our head of the script department leveled up. So we're going to increase the studio, upgrade speed up. I don't know if we have people for this or not. We do not. So we're going to put that basically in the queue up there. And so this contract is up for this particular actor. And he's saying, contract is up. I don't necessarily think that highly of your studio, but we could still be useful to each other. And so basically what he's looking for is $26,000, but for how long? And basically what he's talking about is per year. So if we decided to want 3 years or 3 movies out of him, it'd be $35,000. And he was a 5.4. I think we're going to take him up on that because we do get a discount, right? We get a collaboration discount. So basically a little over $10,000 a movie is what we're going to pay him. And now Adventure Time is ready to go into post-production. And that movie dropped a little bit after filming. Not a lot, so it's still a pretty decent movie. Again, our actor is maxed out. No other level increases there on the use. Happiness of the cast and crew was not good. So that's why it dropped a little bit. And I'll take a look, but I know in the past we looked and there was no editor really any better. Yeah, this one's not that much better. So editor, composer, we'll put the 5.6 person on that. So this is where we saved some money, right? This is the film lab. So film development, right? So we're cutting out $17,000 from this particular movie. And we're cutting out basically another $10,000 out of the cost of the movie by doing the sound recording in-house. It does take longer, right? So this medium here, I mean, it takes us twice as long, but it's considerably less expensive. And here, not quite twice as long, but another $10,000 savings. So over the long haul, when you're talking about multiple movies in that, you can see you're going to save a lot of money here. So here's our other movie that was out. We got into week 3. We dropped a little bit here, down to 80%. We did drop 500 screenings, but we did get enough money here that we're now profitable on this movie. And again, I think there's a high likelihood I will extend this movie because the ads go out. We've got another one ready for production. So we've got another one ready to go. And this one, I think, is the one that has Carpenter in it, if I'm not mistaken. Well, somehow we took that up. It does. So we took this up to a 3.9 and a 3.0. Everything hit except the extras. So that's why we got so good on that one. And we'll put one of the security guys on that production. All right, so we should have... Shoot. Okay, so he's in post-production. And what we're waiting on here is a cinematographer. And we just... So we're going to use that one. We're going to use that one. Coast. Cave. Alright, so I'm going to do that with this one. Filming technology, sound technology. It's not... No point in doing a lot of extras there. He's going to be tied up. She's going to be tied up. So might as well do that one. Going to do that one. This can be some of our more lowly actors. We need 2 actors, basically. So he's got time left, and he's got a movie left. Actually, was there another? Oh, this guy. Yeah, this guy we want. Okay. Ooh. All right, so that's a big drop off. 30%. I am going to set up distribution, however. And we're going to go down to 1,200 screens on this week here, and we're going to go down to 1,000 screens here. Oops. We're going to go down to 750 here, 500 here. And what we have to do is we have to distribute those. We can increase the marketing too for a couple more weeks. Oh, I didn't know I had both of them in there. So that's what we're going to do with that one, because we still got 30 days for this to hit, and this one's going to have some days before it's going to be ready. So we're going to need to do a story about alcohol, the spirit of freedom, and the corrupt official. We're going to need to get those out. So we need to get something written for that. And all we're getting is adventures. So what we're going to do is the alcohol. Let's see, how about this? The drunk mayor. So we are going to do a drama. I don't know that it's really a thriller. It's not really an action either. Let's do a thriller, I guess. It's more of a drama than anything else, but we're going to do it in a modern American town. Actually, I guess we probably could have gone back to... Yeah, so this is going to be... You'll see the freshness level of the film elements, right? So when we get to that point, thinking I want to do the Wild West, actually. So we're looking at, cowboy. And the antagonist is going to be corrupt official. And then one of our themes is going to, and we're going to, this way we can knock out both of those requirements with one movie. And you can see as I hover over this now, that green bar there and the fresh story element is in there. Let's see. Is there anything else we want? We could do. We don't have. Let's do maybe a love interest, I guess. And then what we could do, we got still 3 elements before the finale. The finale should be that the antagonist gets punished. So we're going to do that one. So we got 2 more elements we can do, or we can call it a day there. Let's do that one. We'll do 6 of 7. And we'll do a screenwriter. No stale or rotten story elements in the film yet, so there's hope for strong viewer interest. Actually, I think maybe we're going to do one more here. I don't know that we have one more. Here, Winning the Beloved. All right, so now we've got maximum story elements. We've got fresh stuff. We're ready. And thriller drama. Unfortunately, he's our lowest level writer, so I don't know how well that bodes for that film, but we're going to figure it out. All right, so let's see here. Okay, yeah, so unfortunately, we did drop movie theaters by, 550, and we still only have a 25% attendance at this point. And our ads are kicking in. We are, like I said, we are making money with this movie, so that's a good thing. But we might really drop off here to where we're not making much of anything at all toward the end here, which is unfortunate. And we've got another movie ready to go to production here. We increased that one a little bit. So 2.5 up to a 3.5 and 2.3 up to a 2.9. Everything hit, so that's pretty much the reason there for that. Got security on it, and that's going to filming, and so right out of the gate there's a problem. Director is using light and shadow to make the film more atmospheric, but outdated lighting equipment is making it tedious to arrange the spotlights. So here's something here. We can drop the idea, or if he needs more time, let him take it. The whole filming schedule will be 30% slower, but it will produce a higher quality film, so we're going to let that go. And you can see it was originally at about 80 something days, right along with this one. Now we're up to 117 days. Okay, yeah, so 10. Unfortunately, we're still dropping here, 10%. So this will be the end of the run for this movie. Luckily, we've got another one coming out right away. We've got another one right behind it. We did make a little bit of money with it. Not great, but pretty good, actually. So we're going to archive this one. We got 30 points for that one for some reason. I don't remember getting that many reputation points for a profitable movie. I thought it was only 15. And so we still are waiting on a cinematographer. No, we've got one. We've got a couple. Let's see. He's got 2 movies left. Let's do that. We're waiting on a soundstage now. Got 2 movies being written. Problem here with this movie again. Screenwriter's brother showed up at the shoot and handcuffed himself to a light post. Because we have security on set with this movie production, there's no cost to throw the idiot off the set. We could let him keep demanding it until he goes hoarse. The film crew's happiness will decrease. That's no good. Give him our apologies and a $5,000 check, but the reputation is going to go down. So our reputation points, we'd lose 50, plus we'd lose another 5 grand. But this is no cost to us whatsoever since we have security on the set. So we're going to toss him. And we're just waiting here for this finish. Once this finishes, that's only a 2.6 and a 2.1. Yeah, so it's a C. And typically these C movies don't do all that bad, but they're not great either. And since that one was $602,000 to do, so I think I'm just gonna wait maybe until Adventure Time got released before we end the episode. But I think I want to get just a couple of weeks into this one, and then we'll end this episode because these things are, for some reason, running long and longer than I had anticipated and longer than I wanted. And we're going to speed up time here. And there's our first week. Oof, that's brutal. 51%. So I'm going to let this maybe go another couple weeks here before we end this episode. Don't have a whole lot else going on. Okay, we were waiting for a soundstage, I thought. Now we've got one. So let's get this one going. City interiors, movie theater, station, hotel, hospital. This one's actually not a bad movie, so let's see if we have, and we can wait 11 days potentially for him. So let's do that. He's got 500 days left. Let's get him on that. We're going to need 3 people, and all 3 of these I think is what we're going to put in there because these are all 6.0 and higher, right? So, which is higher than both of these scores. So that should, with this producer, it should give us a pretty good outcome on that movie. All right, 34% in the second week, and we're 900 screenings below where we premiered this. So this is going to be another loser for us. So let's get this to distribution. Once we get this set up, we'll see where we're at here. I think, yeah, sure, why not? Once this goes to distribution, then we should be able to get this movie made. All right, so our director that we had. All right, well, okay, let's. So I guess I had to wait and do this first before I could assign him to the next movie. So we lost a little bit there, not much. Yes, we lost a little bit there too, but not much. That might not impact it as much. So our editor, she went up in level, so we got a level bump there. And again, these don't really mean anything. So 1, 2, 5, 6. So we're gonna do this. Let's do 2,500 on this one. Might be a little bit better. 2,000, and then 1,750, and then we can potentially do more if we need. So we should be hitting our advertising right there. That's about where you want your advertising to hit, right in about the middle of the film at 100%, right? So, okay, we got that one going. This one we're going to dump end distribution here. Unprofitable. Once again, we're going to send it to the archive, but then we have a producer. Oh my goodness, what did we do here? All right, so he's preparing for the release of Adventure Time, so he's tied up still with this. So this is, yeah, so this was the first thing that was going to go out was the camera. No longer, we didn't use it anyway, so not a huge deal. The microphone will be next. The sound technology will be next. All right, so I'm going to speed up time even more here. Oh, got an issue here. Beam from the light rig came down during filming and broke the chief lighting engineer's collarbone. So we don't have the emergency search for technical personnel upgrade. So what we could do is we could continue shooting without overhead lighting. It's going to lower the film quality. The happiness of both of those folks are going to decrease, and filming will be 15% slower for 20 days. Or we can just stop for 20 days. This is probably going to affect it as well, but that's what we're going to have to do, I think, at this point. And scouting office is now available. And so we can potentially scout international locations or high quality locations, have them work 20% faster. We could have high quality sets, high quality costumes and props, experience for directors and cinematographers, so they receive extra experience. Or we can have up to 100 extras in a film. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go with high quality sets. High quality sets. And we're not going to use our speed up there on that. And okay, so this is the first time we saw this, and what we should have done is we should have talked to the police chief about this. So this is a police raid. You'll have these events that come up every now and then. This is a police raid. So if we would have had the services like we thought, like we had talked about, right? We would potentially have to give, and things were purchased, such as the heroin or some you could potentially purchase cigars or whiskey, that kind of thing. That would have been taken under contraband. All of it would have been taken under contraband. It would have been seized. So since we didn't have any of that, the only thing we lost is a little bit of money out of our cash. This won't come out of the studio's account. This is going to come out of my cash. So there it goes. And then one of our actors, actors was hospitalized due to the raid, as was Donald Schultz, who was another actor. And the police raid has ended. Now, that if either of those two actors were in movies that are currently filming, it will stop the filming and the production of those movies until they get back from the hospital. All right, so we've got a 5.2 and a 4.9 movie, and that is going to go to production because that's a good enough movie that we're going to be able to produce that. So this guy here's got 2 movies left. Let's use him. Soundstage. It's basically the one that wouldn't have mattered whether it was internal or external. We'll do external. Yeah, so by the way, you saw, I think, the other camera technology has been removed from our technologies, right? So it's not even available anymore. Like this one. This one will go away here in a couple of months. We're going to do plenty of support for this. And I'm going to need to get another producer, I think, another 5.0 or thereabouts. This guy's not 5.0. But he is pretty cheap. So we're going to do that. So 3 movies at 16,000. So if you think about that, that's a little more than 5,000 a movie. All right, we're going to have him do the director. That's kind of overkill, but all right. Get that one started. And so legal executive, yeah, no kidding. Whoa. So, yeah, oh, come on now. The actor poured some alcohol into a trash can filled with paper and accidentally started a fire, which spread across the whole hotel room. No one was injured, luckily, but now Gabriel Rutkowski has to pay $3,000 in damages. He's asking you to help pay the debt. And I don't have $3,000 in my account, right? Some of it was just seized, but I don't even have that. So we're going to have to cut his loyalty because I don't have the money to pay it. So that's the way that one's going to work. Okay, this is another decent movie. I don't think we have anybody available to do that movie yet. So the other thing I do want to show you, though, oh my goodness. The one thing I want to show you, though, is we talked a little bit earlier about friends and you can use the services of the police chief and so on and so forth. So typically the first time you're raided, you will have another raid coming at some point pretty soon. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask him, hey, give us a break here. Don't come raid us. So for 6 months, we won't have to worry about the police visiting the studio from a raid. And then what we could do if we wanted is we could actually tell them to go raid on the competitors. So we do this and then we have to pick the competitors. So maybe what we do is the Gerstein brothers. Now that's going to cost us, right? And so now at some point we're going to need some additional goodwill points. And this is going to go on for 180 days over there. So that's why I did the protection, because it happens about once every 6 months, or once pretty frequently when they get it started. All right, so now we've got filming technology, sound technology. This is a decent movie. And we have probably no decent producers, no decent directors, and no actors. So we need to kind of put that on hold still. So security has upgraded their offensive operations. They now have an offensive operations building that you can build. And they also have the ability then to go beat somebody or kidnap or potentially murder someone. But the one thing we want is we want to take a look at what kind of compromising information they might be able to gather. Production on to the very top is about to wrap. Kissing a collapsing bridge left to film. It's a dangerous stunt, very complicated. We can't rewrite the scene. The whole film leads up to it. We're talking about the climax of the picture. Let's just hope for the best. Hopefully nothing bad will happen. So now we've got 2 additional buildings here. We've got a scouting office, which we're going to build. Probably not this time, but we're going to build it. We need to build it. And then the offensive operations building, which we probably will not. But I think I'd like to end this episode there. And even though we didn't get Adventure Time out, nor There we go. Sergio performed all the stunts flawlessly. So there we go. And so that movie's going to finish up. So that's going to go to post. This is going to go to distribution. And, we still got to get this pipeline kind of flowing a little better, because right now we don't have enough movies. Okay, we don't have a historical writer. We don't have a historical writer. We do have a thriller writer who is currently on vacation. We do have an adventure writer. And let's do the action writer for the detective story and get that going. We just don't have enough films that are currently kind of in progress to keep that pipeline going. And like I said before, that has to happen in order for you to continue to be successful here on the money front. And we lost a lot of points on that one. So that one is again another stinker. But this is the Wendy Carpenter movie. So this is going to give us some favor with the mayor. Well, you know what? Let's do this guy here. Let's do that one. So I might as well save the money. There's no point in going any lower. And we're releasing Adventure Time. Okay, so this one actually shouldn't do bad either. This is another B- movie, which was the last one as well. So we'll have to see. I'm going to kind of go through this real quick because I want to get this episode finished. I want to get this first week out, and let's see what we've got. So, okay, so the maintenance now has a repair crew. So the first thing, there's only a couple of other things for them to do at this point. So I think the next thing they need to look at is with regards to research, and that is the electrical power plant. So I am going to I'm going to use pretty much all of our available points for speeding this up, because that's going to speed it up by 120 days. 4 months that's going to be. And the distribution department now has the cinemas for rent research completed. There is a cinema optimization here. We can increase the number of daily screenings in our theaters from 5 to 6. If you remember, we saw that was a thing in the analytics. We saw that there was 5 showings a day. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to go with this analytics and statistics department first, because that's going to take longer to do. And as soon as, we've got first week numbers are in 94%, so that's not too bad. We weren't quite on 100% of the ad, but we dropped another 600 showings. We're the number 3 movie, so I'm going to let it go one more week, and then we're going to call it an episode. Yeah, there's the guy we were looking for before, I think, right? So him. We don't have another actor available, so we can't do anything there yet with that one. This one's ready to go. We dropped a little bit on that one, but we're going to get this one because of locations. We're going to get that one going as well. So you always want to have something kind of almost at every stage. All right, so dropped a little bit, but not too bad actually. Don't know that we'll make money on this film, but we'll get close, I think. And with that, I think I'd like to end. Yeah, so one of our employees committed suicide. So they're not going to be. I don't think she was in any movies currently in production, so I don't think we have anything to worry about other than the fact that she killed herself. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to leave it there for this episode. Please, guys, if you like the content, if you like my presentation, or if you don't, please comment. I would prefer the like and subscribe, but I understand if you didn't like the content, you didn't like my presentation, I understand. But give me that comment. Let me know what I'm doing bad or doing wrong. And I appreciate you watching. Thanks. See you next time.